What's better for weight loss, fruit or veg? Keep watching this video to find out. Hi, I'm Wright, an accredited nutritionist, and I specialise in helping people all across the world achieve their goals without any silly fad diets. Weight loss is challenging enough without the confusion that seemingly never ends when it comes to what we should put in our mouth. One ongoing battle is between Team Fruit and Team Veg. In this video, I'll be discussing which team is more suited for weight loss, the benefits, and whether or not we need to be concerned with the natural sugar content that you will find in fruits. Before stating who may be the best of the two options, it's important to answer the question, does fruit or veg help with weight loss? Well, the short answer to that is most likely yes. Large-scale studies show that those with a higher intake of plants tend to manage and/or achieve a healthy weight significantly better than those with a lower intake. What's also interesting is that having a higher intake of plants seemingly prevents weight gain, which is a major problem in weight loss research. Additionally, data generally shows that a plant-based diet approach, like veganism, is a really effective means of achieving weight loss and sustaining it. There are a number of reasons as to why plants may be so effective at supporting the goal of weight loss. Volumetrics and satiety. Volumetrics is a style of dieting that had a boom in the early 2000s and once again in the 2010s. It's an approach to weight loss that involves choosing to eat more foods which are less calorie dense but provide more actual food volume. Essentially, you're getting more food for the same amount of calories, if not slightly lower. The goal of the volumetrics diet is to make us feel as satiated as possible. In practice, it would be like swapping out a tub of Smarties with a full watermelon. Which do you think is going to make you feel fuller? Volumetrics is a pretty effective approach in its own right, and it's one of the key mechanisms suggested by researchers for why we see these improved weight loss outcomes in the higher plant intake populations. What are they replacing? Another possible reason for the weight loss success attached to eating more plants is simply the foods that the plants are replacing in your diet. Namely, the foods which are higher in energy, higher in fats, added sugars, and of a greater degree of processing. Basically, less nutritious foods which we shouldn't restrict ourselves from necessarily, but maybe not have as often as we currently are. This would include the likes of chocolate, cakes, biscuits, takeaway meals, pizzas, etc. It's fairly well established that having less nutritious foods in your diet leaves you at a greater risk of weight gain and increases your risk of obesity. The impact plants have on the gut. Plants can have a transformative effect on our gut microbiota for the better. I don't just mean that for weight loss, but I mean that more generally across the board. A greater intake of plants is associated with a more diverse and densely populated gut microbiota. This is a good thing, by the way, as greater microbiota diversity is associated with lower BMI scores as well as a reduced risk of obesity. The gut has often been described as the second brain, and one really cool way in which it helps with weight loss is called the second meal effect. Lots of seconds here. The second meal effect is described as the phenomenon by which the first meal consumed at an earlier time suppresses one's appetite during a later meal. This effect leads to reduced caloric intake and improved control of our blood sugar, insulin sensitivity, and increased energy expenditure. Speaking of blood glucose, higher plant intakes can also improve insulin sensitivity. Increased insulin sensitivity in of itself may directly impact body weight. For instance, those who are insulin resistant may have reduced energy expenditure when eating due to their impaired glucose handling. So improving our blood glucose control and insulin sensitivity through a more plant-based diet may increase energy expenditure in this way too. Fruit versus veg. Alright, so either way, having more plants in your diet, be it fruit or veg, is seemingly beneficial for weight loss, sustaining weight loss and maintaining a healthy weight. But is one better than the other? Well, no, not necessarily. One of the major arguments for veg over fruit is the sugar content of fruit, and while that is a fair point to make, it doesn't seem to make all that much difference in the actual weight loss outcomes. For instance, one review paper which looked at a whole range of studies just involving vegetables and their impact on weight loss found that, unsurprisingly, increasing vegetable consumption resulted in weight loss. The researchers also found that increased vegetable intake was also associated with a reduced risk of weight gain or obesity. In a separate review paper, which also looked at a whole range of studies, but this time involving just whole fruit, found virtually the same outcomes. But the devil's in the detail here, and there is one caveat as to why people believe veggies trump fruit when it comes to weight loss. The first being juiced fruit, namely smoothies and fruit drinks, contain both huge amounts of sugars as well as calories. These beverages aren't great in all honesty, and there's an entire spectrum of them in terms of the quality as well as the nutrient content that you have to contend with. While there may be some small weight gain associations, experts suggest that if you are going to opt for a juice always go for a 100% option, not from concentrate, as it appears to have minimal risk associations for other adverse health conditions. It's also important that you adjust your intake to compensate for the liquid calories. That's a mistake many make on their weight loss journey. They eat their regular intake on top of the liquid calories they consume. If you're on a weight loss journey and the scales aren't moving, this is a really good thing to bear in mind. The second issue the fruit haters have is that they believe fructose is the culprit for weight gain. Fructose is a naturally occurring sugar found in fruit, but it's also made its way into the world of ultra-processed foods in the form of high fructose corn syrup. The problem with fructose is that it doesn't seem to provide the same satiating effect as other forms of carbohydrate, which would explain why, at least in part, you find that those people who have fructose-rich liquid calories will often not compensate in their other areas of their diet for that energy intake. But you know what? That's a lot of shade thrown at fruit, but veggies aren't perfect either, you know. In fact, data shows that increased intakes of starchier carbs like potatoes, peas, and corn may actually contribute to some weight gain. And that pains me to put corn out there because, for me, I really like corn. I mean, it's a big lump with knobs and it has the juice. Honestly, I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. Ultimately, both veggies and fruit are great for you if your goal is to lose weight, sustain any weight loss, or achieve a healthy weight, or just maintain the weight that you're at. Yes, there are some that you have to be wary of, but you can of course include those within a healthy, balanced diet, just like everything else. Neither is better, they're both great, but corn is the best. I can tell you all about it, everything will change. As always, if you have any more questions or even advice for other viewers just like you, let me know in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe to the Myprotein YouTube channel for more great evidence-based nutrition information.